Hi there, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm so glad that you clicked on today's video. My name's Olivia, and today I'm just gonna kind of share with you what I learned at my church youth night, and we're gonna be in 1 Samuel chapter 16. And at my youth night, we talked about that you can see Christ through the entire Bible. So normally when someone shares the gospel, they go to Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John, and that's great and that's perfect. But there may be times that God uses you to share the gospel with someone from a different passage, and that's what I'm going to be doing with you today. I'm going to be telling you about God's love from some book in the Old Testament. It is called 1 Samuel, and we are going to be in chapter 16. So just a little background for you guys of what's going on. So the Israelites had King Saul, and he was not a good king. He turned away from the Lord, so God rejected him. God was going to use Samuel to appoint Israel a new king. So if you'll read verse 1 with me, I read from the NASB Bible, just so you guys know. It says, "Now the Lord said to Samuel, 'How long will you grieve over Saul, since I rejected him from being king over Israel? Fill your horn with oil and go. I will send you to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have selected a king for myself among the sons.'" Okay, time out. God had already selected a king before Samuel even went. This shows that God has anointed his children. Before you were even born, God knew you and longed to save you. And he already knows those that are going to turn to him, and he's already preparing an amazing place in heaven for us. Let's continue reading. Verse 2, "But Samuel said, 'How can I go? When Saul hears of it, he will kill me.' And the Lord said, 'Take a heifer with you and say, I have come to sacrifice to the Lord. You shall invite Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will show you what you shall do, and you shall anoint for me the one whom I designate to you.'" God's designating here. So Samuel did what the Lord said and came to Bethlehem, which was where Jesus was born. And the elders of the city came trembling to meet him and said, "Do you come in peace?" He said, "In peace. I have come to sacrifice to the Lord. Consecrate yourselves and come with me to the sacrifice." He also consecrated Jesse and his sons and invited them to the sacrifice. When they entered, they looked at Eliab and thought, "Surely the Lord's anointed is before him." But the Lord said to Samuel, "Do not look at his appearance or the height of his stature, because I have rejected him." So Samuel's about to pick a king, and God's telling Samuel, "Hold on, before you go, don't look at how handsome someone is or how beautiful they are. Don't look at how tall they are or how strong they are or how mighty they are." It says, "God sees not as man sees, for man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." Time out. This verse is super important. I'm going to read it for you one more time. Verse 7, if you look down with me, "God sees not as man sees, for man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." This means that status, position, wealth doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how beautiful you think you are or how much you think you've got it together or what you've accomplished. God is actually looking for the humble, and he longs to save the brokenhearted and those who are weak, those who feel unworthy. So God is calling you to come to him, and you don't need to do anything except humble yourself. Let's continue in verse 8. "Then Jesse called Abinadab and made him pass before Samuel. Then he said, 'The Lord has not chosen this one either.' Next Jesse made Shammah pass by, and he said, 'The Lord has not chosen this one either.'" So Samuel's going through all of the sons, the older. He's like, "Okay, he's like, I'm handsome. God didn't choose you. I'm tall. God didn't choose you." So do you notice a pattern here? Is God looking for the strong or handsome? Absolutely not. Thus Jesse made 7 of his sons pass before Samuel. But Samuel said to Jesse, "The Lord has not chosen these." Samuel said to Jesse, "Are these all the children?" Jesse said, "Well, there remains yet the youngest. He's tending the sheep, like back over there in the field, you know." So Samuel says to Jesse, "Send and bring him, for we will not sit down until he comes here." So Jesse's like, "All right, let's bring in David." In verse 12, "So he sent and brought him in. Now he was ready with beautiful eyes and a handsome appearance. And the Lord said, 'Arise, anoint him, for this is he.' Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brothers, and the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon David from that day forward. And Samuel arose and went to Ramah." So basically, to sum up the beginning of 1 Samuel 16, that was the first half of the chapter. God sends Samuel to go anoint a king. He looks through all of the sons, all of the oldest sons, the strongest ones. God hasn't chosen any of those. Instead, God chose the youngest son who was out in the back tending the sheep. His father didn't even think to bring him in, and God chose him to be king over Israel. So it doesn't matter who you are, who you think you are, what you look like, what you have, what you do. God just is looking for the humble, and he's going to use you in great ways. He longs for you to come to him. He loves you. You are so special. And in verse 13, just to close, when it says the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon David from that day forward, God's never going to leave you once you turn to him. Once you accept Christ, he'll never leave because he loves you. I hope this little Bible study devotional was of some encouragement to you. Just remember that God's not looking for the outward appearance, but he's looking at your heart. Are you willing to humble yourself? Are you willing to come before him? That's all he wants. If you have any questions, just comment down below. I'd love to have a little chit chat with you. Please be sure to subscribe for more like this, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!